are you both doing?
Hi, we're good. Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Nice to meet you. Congrats on the movie.
Thank you.
So I like throwing a curveball at the beginning. If you could, yeah, we'll see. If you could get the financing, yeah, we'll find out in a second. If you could get the financing to make anything you want, what would you make and why?
Oh, wow.
I would make my next animated movie. There is a movie that I've wanted to make for like 10, 15 years. It's still brewing. And I hope that will be the next one.
I think I'm the same. I'm trying to write a book at the moment, but I think I would build a publishing house that would commission me to write the book. And then, I love it.
I like both of those answers. I'm curious with technology changes so quickly, and technology is a part of this movie. But I'm curious with the making of this film, how technology possibly helped tell the story, or maybe like what technology with animated movies is about to be able to do that will help with future movies.
I mean, the technology of animation is extraordinary. We were laughing earlier today about the fact that, you know, when I made my last film 10 years ago, I remember being told you can have a character wet or you can have them dry, but you can't have them damp. We're not having any water running off them because of that stage. It was this big technical challenge with CG. That and heavy jumpers, they were like, we can't do this. And now that stuff is all easy. So the technology moves on and on and on so fast. You can do anything that you want to that in that way. And of course, the big challenge on this movie was making the movie during lockdown. So although we had the most fantastic technology and people were able to dial into the pipeline from their home, the problem is that everybody's internet is rubbish and their kids are doing their schoolwork upstairs and their partner is doing their job in another room. And it was literally that the broadband constantly failed us.
It's like the whole world had to go home, including our movie.
Sarah, Peter, I apologize. I have another question for Sarah. I read that you wanted to make a movie, like you saw Spike Jonze Her and were like, I want to make this, but for kids.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just simply because that movie is so brilliant in kind of making you think about your relationship with the voice you're hearing inside this kind of digital world. And at the same time, I had a 3-year-old who kept being on her iPad and like just quoting back all the adverts verbatim, saying that she was going on about this fabric softener and it makes your clothes smell so good. And I was like, you know, someone needs to explain to my little girl as she grows up that everything online may be a little complicated, you know. And at the same time, in particular, it affects children's friendships and relationships. It's this new playground where they're making friends where you can't hold their hand. And it seemed like the most important thing that parents and kids were dealing with.
Yeah, for both of you, one of the things that the film jumps into and talks about is the fact that what kids are dealing with in the social media age and how technology is just, and especially anyway, I'm not going to insert myself, but could you sort of talk about the fact that the film, what it deals with and it's trying to talk about?
Well, it's trying to hopefully it's not judging it or trying to say, get off your phone or go off social media, because they're not going to, and they'd hate us for it if the movie told them.
We want to say that,
yes,
but we can't. We know we can't.
But somebody told us early on, like a very good note, they said, kids smell medicine, so don't put medicine in there, you know. But like, I think it's just like that we're all living through this world where like friendships begin online. And like that whole thing of, is that person your friend or are they not your friend? And also there's a curated aspect to all of this where like, you know, like people can put out a version of themselves or they can get FOMO and they can get all these different things that didn't used to exist. I mean, we were lucky when we were kids, you know, you could have an argument with somebody in the schoolyard and you go home and that was it. And now somebody can have an argument with you in your bedroom, and that's like a bit, you know, it's a bit scary. So we want to empathize with that.
And biggest of all really is this idea that, you know, all of these computers are organizing us to try and meet people who are exactly like us and agree with us. And that, you know, for us, the biggest thing is that isn't necessarily where your friends should lie, you know.
100%. The other thing the film does well is it doesn't get to the end and pretend that B-bots are just going to go away.
You know, I thought that was the ending of the movie for ages when I was early pitching an idea to people. And I remember someone in an ideas room one day saying, you know, that's not going to happen. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Therefore,
Yeah, I
really
mean-
what the movie has to be about
Mm,
is
mm.
how do we want to live with technology and how would we like to change it to make
Mhm.
it a better piece of our lives?
Mhm.
100%. It's like if Apple, the way I look at it is if Apple was the company and they invented a Bebot, they would never not put it on the market. It's just too much money.
Yeah.
No. Like I said, and also the really important thing with this movie as well was for this to be like we'd seen, when Sarah came to me and she told me the idea that we thought, oh, well, let's sit down and watch, kid and raw person and robot movies. And they were all set in the future, in this theoretical future where, the robot has some kind of AI consciousness, and that's not the world we're in, not yet anyway. So it was really important for that to happen and feel relevant to now. And it also just to see these Bebots and go, that might come along in 2 years' time.
Yeah, they're devices. They're not robots.
Yeah,
they're devices.
that's true. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And what's funny about movies and television is how much they influence the people that are making these products.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
someone's totally going to watch this at one of these companies and be like, can we do this?
I really
what do we do?
100% want that to happen. I mean, I
Mm.
asked that question a lot during the making of it. We actually worked with a couple of toy companies and designers that are like real world designers as well as character designers, so that the technology felt possible and achievable.
Mm.
The thing is, we're so amazingly brilliant human beings. The fact that you can actually see, filter, hear so much information and navigate walking downstairs. Like they really haven't really cracked that with robots yet. The whole downstairs thing is still a problem.
Yeah.
I've seen some of those Boston Dynamic videos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They're
they're the
pretty
scary
good.
ones. We were actually watching during the making of this movie. We would check in with a Boston Dynamics video every now and again, and they just get increasingly scary. There's one where one of those like weird dog things opens a door, and you think, we're screwed. They can open doors now.
Don't do that. Bad idea.
No, I mean, and what's funny is we really need to do an intervention at that company and say, have any of you seen Terminator?
Yes.
And if so, I just want to make sure you have. Just let us know.
The other video that was really brilliant
God.
was really like meant a lot to us was one where they're slightly pushing one of them around.
Oh no, they're pushing it over with a stick.
And
Yeah.
you feel really, they're showing you that it can be knocked over and get up.
I know.
But you feel like you're seeing something like hitting a dog,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's so weird. And it makes you realize how much that anything that moves in any sort of human way, you imbue it with kind of human
Oh,
characteristics.
that guy, the slightly nerdy scientist guy pushing that robot over the floor. I thought when the AI, revolution happens, he's first to go. He's in trouble,
Animated movies generally have Easter eggs. I'm just curious if there are any in this film. Did you write it into this? I guess Easter egg talk.
I don't know if I would describe any of it as Easter eggs. There are a million details that get put into the movie by so many different people along the way. And, I watched the movie in 3D. And if you're directing a movie, you've seen it, I don't know how many times, but watching it in 3D, I suddenly saw the world in even more detail. And you see some of the comic details and so on that the design crew and so on have built into the world. So yeah, there are things everywhere. There's stuff on the walls of the kitchen, Donka's relatives and so on. There's a lot to look at in the design world.
Yeah, it's very dense, isn't it? There's
Very
a lot
dense.
going on.
I definitely have to give a shout out to Olivia Colman. I honestly didn't realize it was her until I just didn't really realize her voice is so good. What was it like working with her, especially on that role?
She's so delightful and so completely down to earth. And, for us in the UK, who are like British comedy people, like before she was a goddess with Academy Award winning roles, she was a brilliant TV comedian. And that's what we were thinking of when we went to her. And she's so prepared to just roll her sleeves up and be Bulgarian and jump around as if she's on a table. She's brilliant.
She's fantastic. I got to stop there. I'm just going to say congrats on the movie. I really do hope it's a huge hit for you guys.
Thank you
you.
so much. That's very kind. Thank you.
Cool.